Pokachik in the AskReddit subreddit says, former bullies and mean girls, what brought the change in you? Serious.
Was essentially bullied at home by family and I took it out on those around me. Thankfully I had some friends that let me know I was being a dick and I apologized to the people I hurt. I'll always hate myself for the way I acted and I don't think that will ever change. I still catch myself being a grumbling asshole sometimes, but I will never let myself be who I used to be.
Became shy after a bit. I just realized that, hey, I'm not better than any of these people by any means. I am just below them. Now I help anyone I know who gets bullied or at least try to.
I was a mean girl. Sheer popular, thought I was better than everyone else. During summer break in high school I went to camp. I was bullied by some of the other girls there so relentlessly. From hazing, to emotional, to humiliating me, lying to get me trouble. It was bad. After that I changed. Wish it was earlier. I got a job as a video game tester and worked with people who were bullied when they were younger. We'd tell stories and things I found funny they found traumatic and mean. As cliché as it is, I never thought about it from their perspective or thought my behavior was bullying until then. Helped me see it from the other side. I'm much more empathic now. Pretty ashamed about my behavior when I was younger.
Wasn't really a bully, but I wasn't nice either. I was just a raging bitch and was mean to people who I thought deserved it, and it didn't help that there were also other people who were just as mean and judgmental as I was. It got to the point that I was needlessly fighting my friends, and only when I was confronted about my attitude and I got to hear my friend's perspective that I shifted. This was towards the end of high school BTW. Took a lot of time and educated myself how to be better. Also therapy lol, anger management, anxiety management, etc. I couldn't erase who I was and I accept that part of me. I'm not saying I'm all perfect now lol, I know there's still a lot of work to do, but all in all it's loads better than before. I'm glad I had the chance to grow up and get better.
When I realized I was just like my dad, and I really dislike my dad.
Grew up in an abusive home and did it out of self-protection. Verbally hurt them before they could hurt you. I know my behavior didn't make me popular or really make me feel better, but I needed to lash out on the easiest targets. Fast forward to having no friends in my mid-20s and needed to figure out why. Actually became friends with older coworkers as a proxy parental influence, and they just gently guided me. Why would you say that to someone? Why would you say that about yourself? Why do you talk that way? Why is everything a fight? What's wrong with being different? What's wrong with making mistakes? No judgments, just gentle questions that I couldn't answer until I looked hard at myself. And I'm eternally thankful. And very, very sorry that I was the thing I hated the most. It really was about breaking the cycle for me. I'm glad that someone took the time to see past my anger, my pushing people away, my misery, and saw a young person that just needed some kindness.
I used to be really mean and bully 2 kids in my class in primary school. I wasn't okay mentally, and to be honest, I was taking out my stress on them. I still feel guilty. When I started middle school, my mental health got worse. My depression and anxiety gave me an eating disorder, and I started self-harming out of guilt. I'm in high school now. I'm a lot better. I haven't self-harmed for months. I go to therapy and I found good friends. Edit. I made a typo. If I wrote something wrong, please tell me.
I never saw myself as a bully. Guess I lacked empathy. I was mainly following along with bullying, trying to be popular or make myself feel better. To be fair, in my high school class there was not crazy much bullying going on. One kid got bullied though. It literally just occurred to me a couple of months ago that he didn't actually deserve this. He was just different and made himself an easy target. Unlikable person, too, but yeah, it kind of blew my mind when I realized he didn't actually deserve the way I treated him. That nothing justifies this. He didn't harm anyone. I hope to think that nowadays I don't need to make others feel shitty to compensate. I also learned that many toxic masculinity traits are just not how I like to be.
For more than a decade, I was a bully until people began to ignore me. The popular mean girl became a ghost. I got sick of my toxicity and started to treat people right. I now have a few, but real friends. I acknowledge how bullshit I was before in order to embrace the better version of myself, but I'm not proud of who I used to be. It didn't immediately change me as it happened a long time later, but meeting someone me and my girlfriends bullied at school at a much older age had a big impact on me.
Over time and with new experiences, I stopped hating myself and my life. Then, I started seeing value in my existence and realized I actually impacted people. Happiness, for myself and others, became my reason for living. My middle school health teacher used to tell us that bullies are hurting and that's why they bully. Miss Costello, wherever you are, you were right. I've never met a bully who was happy with themselves or their life. I tell my students all the time that hurt people, and I stand by that. The fastest way to help a bully change is to show them love, kindness, and compassion.
Growing up, I was bullied and a bully in 5th-8th grade. It was like fighting for a space in the pecking order for kids. It was super toxic behavior and I didn't really recognize it. I stopped in high school, and did my best to make amends with the kids I hurt.
I grew up. 7th-8th grade one used to bully my best friend. I look back on it now and I can't believe how shitty a person I was back then. I regret it to this day. I have apologized profusely to him and if he hadn't moved I still would be.
I was a bully to kid who had just moved into our school. I met him the day I came back from being sick with the flu. My friend, which we'll call John. John and me had a rocky friendship due to me not taking stuff seriously like he did. Noah, the new kid I'll call him, was invited to our friend group by John with my best friend in it. I didn't take this too well. I was the kind of person who hated change, so I did everything to get Noah to screw off. The final straw for Noah, after me constantly being rude to him, was when we were in the lunch line. After a short argument which I can't remember well, I told Noah that we didn't want to be his friend. Noah broke down in tears, and that for me, looking back on it now, makes me realize what a shitty person I was. Younger me was shocked, but I didn't care back then. I just sat at the lunch table and began to eat my lunch when Noah walked over to me and said, "Screw you." 3 times, him saying it while fighting tears. That's when I realized how much I was being a big asshole. I apologized a year later after finding out how shitty his life was. And I, an idiot, was only making it worse.
Well, I was a huge bully to my siblings when I was younger. Then at 13 I got saved and everything changed. My brother who despised me is now my best friend. My sisters who hated me now like me. My parents who gave up on me are now proud of me. I'm now 15. Only 2 years ago I got saved, so in all Jesus brought the change in me.
I used to put people on the spot to make them look dumb and make fun of them. Then I did drugs that made me feel dumb. I realized that just because you can't explain yourself clearly or remember shit or whatever doesn't mean that you feel less, or that you're any less worthy.
I took my ass to therapy and realized I had spent my life being motivated by my own insecurities. I also learned that gossiping was just my own attempt at creating a bond with someone and entertaining them in the hopes they would like me. It all came back to me being insecure and constantly needing external validation. I wanted everyone to hate themselves as much as I did. I also had a lot of family issues and my emotional needs were never met. I think I spent the first 20 years of my life in fight or flight.
I was raped as a child and got out of that situation midway through kindergarten. I lost my temper and beat up other kids for singing dirty parodies of nursery rhymes because that's what my rapist was singing while assaulting me. I ended up realizing that the other kids didn't really intend to hurt me and gained control of my anger issues by 2nd grade. I had an award for Most Improved.
I was bullied throughout school, and was never at the highest social clique. When I left school I realized people were punching down on me, and in turn I was taking my hurt and punching down on the next person along the social scale. I didn't throw punches, but I made jokes at others' PPLS expense, and sometimes that shit hurts even more. It was stupid and I regret making those PPLS life harder than it needed to be, and just cause I was hurting or insecure wasn't a license to pass it on. I used to bully my cousin when we went to elementary school together. I did it for a good year until he heard from a friend that I made him cry. Years later I treat him like a brother and gave him $100 on his birthday, and a few more years later I took a family picture at his graduation. Gonna send him some money when he goes to college.